Hey guys, Eric from Grimy Mid Sports Cards here, coming at you with another video. Today we're going to do a little something different. I know I've been doing a ton of PSA reveals lately, and there are certainly more of those to come. But today we're going to do a video on my favorite pitcher of all time. That would be Bob Gibson. Gibby, or sometimes he was called Hoot. So I've been collecting Bob Gibson cards for a lot of years. I didn't get to see him a whole lot when I was a kid. He was right at the very end of his career when I started watching baseball in the 70s. And so I didn't get to see him a whole lot live, but I have watched a lot of live footage over the years, and definitely, you know, top 10 pitcher of all time. As a matter of fact, I believe he ranks as the number 7 pitcher of all time. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it here. I'm going to show you my collection. I've been trying to put together the master set of his playing days cards, and I have lots of other cards of his as well. So I've got a bunch of stats for you, and then I'm going to show off my collection, and we'll call it a video. So, here we go. Let's get you something to look at here. Just a few of the, I'll say, lower end cards of Gibby that I have in my collection. It is the day before Thanksgiving. I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving with their families and enjoys themselves. So Bob Gibson, as I said, he was nicknamed Gibby and or Hoot after an actor by the name of Hoot Gibson. He was born in 1935, died in 1920. He played 17 seasons in Major League Baseball, started at 23 years old, stood 6'2". He was ranked number 7 all time for all pitchers. He played baseball and basketball in college at Creighton University. And then in 1957, 2 years before he was drafted by the Cardinals, he played for the Harlem Globetrotters, which I think is a very cool stat. He is a Hall of Famer. He was inducted in 1981. And there were lots of people who had said, very possibly the most intimidating pitcher of all time. So I'm going to throw out some stats for you here just because they're so interesting. Pitching stats to start off with. He pitched in 528 games, started 482, won 251 games, lost 174 for a 59.1 win percentage in his career. Lifetime ERA 2.91. 255 complete games, 6 saves, 3,884 innings pitched. He faced 16,068 batters in his career, gave up 3,279 hits, 1,258 earned runs, 1,420 runs altogether. In his entire career, facing over 16,000 batters, only gave up 257 home runs. Walked 1,336 batters in his career. Of those, 118 were intentional. He hit 102 batters in his career. Struck out 3,117 batters. Was the second pitcher in MLB history to record 3,000 strikeouts after the great Walter Johnson. Now we'll go on to some of his hitting stats because he actually was a pretty good hitter as well. 596 games, 1,328 at bats, 132 runs, 274 hits. He had 44 doubles in his career, 5 triples, 24 home runs, including 2 grand slams. That's just awesome. 144 RBIs, 63 walks for a career 206 average. Not a great average hitter, but then again, there aren't too many pitchers that are. He was also a wonderful fielder, 94.9% fielding percentage for his entire career. He won 9 Gold Gloves, which was the most of any pitcher, up until 1999 when Greg Maddux, the great Greg Maddux, won his 10th and then went on to win 3 more. Gibby was the Cy Young Award winner for the National League for 1968 and 1970. He was also the MVP of the National League in 1968. 68 was a phenomenal year for him. I'll just throw those stats out for you as well. Started 34 games. He went 22-9 with a 1.12 ERA for the year. 28 complete games, 13 shutouts, 304 innings. Faced 1,161 batters, only gave up 11 home runs. 66 walks, 6 were intentional, 268 strikeouts for that year. And one stretch during the season, he pitched 95 innings while only giving up 2 earned runs. Just awesome. And/or dominating. He won 2 World Series MVPs and won 2 World Series with the Cardinals. In 1969, May 12th of 1969, he recorded the first immaculate inning in Cardinals history. 9 pitches, 3 outs. He won 20 games 5 different times in his career. 1965, 66, 68, 69, and 70. In his career, he struck out 12 guys in a game 14 times, 13 guys in a game 10 times, 14 times in a game 3 times, 15 guys in a game 2 times, 16 guys in a game 1 time, and in Game 1 of the 1968 World Series struck out the most in a game of his career, 17. He was a hard thrower and had no problems throwing it right under your chin if you crowded the plate too much for him. They didn't have a whole lot of radar guns back in that day, but from doing a little bit of research, 92 to 95 was his average, they would say, with indications that he threw quite a bit harder than that in the 97-98 range. But he threw a bunch of different fastballs, so he changed up his speeds, different grips, different speeds to make the ball move different directions. He threw 1 no-hitter in his career. That was 1971. Another interesting stat that I found, in 1967, he broke his ankle in the season. He went 13-7 for the year, came back towards the end of the year, won 3 games in a row. And then in the World Series, he went 3-0. He won Game 1, Game 4, and Game 7 with a combined total of a 1 ERA, winning his 2nd World Series MVP. Just awesome. After he retired, he was a pitching coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, also for the New York Mets, and for the Atlanta Braves. So there's just a little bit of background on Gibby for you there. I'm going to get into showing off part of my collection here, and then I have a few quotations from some people to end up this video. So you see the stuff out here in front of you right now. You've got a 69 Topps pitching leaders with Juan Marichal and Fergie Jenkins as well on there. Going from left to right, the next one is 1978 TCMA, the 60s. Gem Mint 10. In the middle there, we have 71 Dell Team Stamps, today's All-Star, also a Gem 10. Next to that, 73 Kellogg's, Gem 10. And then the 2 that are on the right are newer cards, but hey, I love Gibby and I will buy absolutely anything of Gibby. So you got a 2006 Topps Allen and Ginter, Gem Mint 10, and over there on the far right is 2005 SP Legendary Cuts, and that is a Gem 10 as well. A little rundown on those, and I'm going to get these out of the way because we're going to put other stuff up there here as we go along. All right, So the first one I'm going to show you here is, the last time I checked, which wasn't too long ago, was a 1 of 1. I bought this card raw off of eBay, 94 Nabisco. These are the All-Star Legends autographs. As far as I know, this is the only 10-10. Gem 10 card, Gem 10 auto. Just love this card. Very, very cool. There's a little certificate of authenticity that came with these Nabisco cards. When you I can't remember, I believe you had to send in like box tops or UPC codes or something like that in order to get these cards sent to you. But this, just an awesome card. I have several Gibby autographs, and this one is one of my favorites. We'll put him right up there. The next one is also a 1 of 1. About 2 days or 3 days after he passed away a couple of years ago, I was looking for more Gibby stuff, as I always am. This is a 2005 Upper Deck Sweet Spot. Classic materials, little piece of pants down here. This is the only Gem Mint 10 of this card. And I just had to pick it up right after he passed away. I saw that it was a Pop 1. Had to get it. Love this card. Very, very cool. Very glad to have it in my collection. The next two here, you probably have seen them in an earlier video. I actually picked these up at the little monthly card show that I work here in Phoenix. These cards aren't anything special. You got 82 TCMA greatest pictures of all time, and then over here you have 1990, I believe. Yeah, 1990 Pacific Legends. But they're both autographed, and these are both Gem 10 autographs. You can see this one over here is a little shakier. He was quite a bit older when he signed this one. Obviously, this one is a little bit nicer over here, but they're both Gem 10 autographs. So, can't go wrong with those guys. All right, I'll pull these guys down because now we're going to get into the Playing Days cards. I'm going to start it off with 1959 Topps. I picked this card up about 3 or 4 years ago. At the time, I thought I way overpaid for it. I'm glad I did. This is about the nicest 6.5 I've ever seen. As a matter of fact, I've seen lots of 7s and 7.5s that weren't as nice as this one. I bought this one off of eBay on an auction. As you can see, it was a pre-war certified high-end, like top 20% or something like that for this grade. Just a phenomenal card. Love that card. And we're going to put him right square in the center, and we'll work out from there. This one you would have seen in a video from about a month and a half or 2 months ago. I picked this up at Long Beach when I was over for the Long Beach Expo. The end of September, 1st of October. 61 Gibby. PSA 8. Great card. And you can see, I get it a little bit closer here, it's definitely diamond cut. It's thin here, it's fat here. Thin here, fat here. The registration is disgusting, and these 61s are very difficult to get well centered, so a little diamond cut does not bother me in any way, shape, or form. This is a phenomenal PSA 8 of this card. Great card. Next, we're going to go 1963. 2 different 1963s. I've got 63 Fleer right here. A bunch of years ago, I actually had a PSA 7. Found this 8. Sold off the 7 and upgraded. This is a really nice 8. Really green on the back. Just another great Gibby. Sticking with 1963, this is the lowest grade, other than the rookie, of any of the Gibbies that I have. But this is a super, super nice 7. 63 is a tough year as well. Very well centered, great registration, great colors. You can see there's a little bit of chipping right here, and there's a little issue down on this corner. That's probably why it's a 7 and not anything better. But this is a phenomenal card. Really, really nice 7. I've seen 8s that weren't as nice, so that's why I have this one in the collection. If I ever see a nicer one, I might upgrade, but that 7's pretty doggone nice. Next, we're going to go 1966. Another PSA 8. Another great card. Phenomenal registration. Really clear. Super nice card. Next, we're going to go 1968. 1968 All-Star. In his MVP year, PSA 9. Love that smile. It's fantastic. Little shot of the back. Great card. Gonna stick along with 1968, and this one is the base card here, PSA 9. Now, I had a chance a bunch of years ago to pick up a PSA 10 when they were still reasonable, and I didn't do it. I opted for a 9. This is a really nice 9, but I kind of wish I would have picked up a 10. I know there's a lot of people that don't particularly care for this 68 set. I happen to like the little burlap stuff that's on there. Think it's a cool card. And there are 68, as everybody knows, 68 has a lot of high pop of Gem Mint 10s in it. So I kind of wish I would have picked up a 10 years ago. But I'm still happy with a 9. Great registration on that card. We're going to stick with 68. This is 68 Venezuelan. Now, my best friend George from Diamond Yard Sports Cards actually got this card as a present for me several years ago. I can't remember. It was either for my birthday or for Christmas. I think it was for Christmas. And it was raw. He bought it from a guy in Venezuela. I sent it in, got it graded. At the time, it was the highest one graded. PSA 4 was the highest one graded, I believe, and it was the only one of a 4. I believe there's either 1 or 2 4s now, and I think there's a 5. I think there's one that's a higher pop than the, or a higher grade than this one. But still, super difficult card, super high grade for Venezuelan tops. Phenomenal card. Thanks, George. Next, we're going to go 1969. 69 Gibby, 8.5. Another card with just smoking registration. Just absolutely beautiful. Love it. This one's been in the collection for quite some time. Look at how salmony it is on the back. Really bright. This is definitely an 8.5 all day. Love it. Next, we're going to go 1970. PSA 9. Another one with great registration, really well centered. Corners so sharp you can shave with them. Nice bright blue and yellow on the back. This is definitely a 9. It's awesome. It is just a super, super nice card. Next, we're going to go 1971. PSA 8. Anybody who collects 71s knows how difficult it is to get a high grade in these cards. This one is not only really well centered, it's a little low, but it's really well centered. There is no chipping at all anywhere on the black. The black is all intact. It just has a couple of little corner issues why it's held back from not being like an 8.5 or a 9. This card is awesome as well. Really green on the back. Picked this one up a few years ago. Worthwhile pickup. Great card. Next, we're going to go 1973. Look at those pork chops. Love them. PSA 9. 73 Gibby and a 9. Little shot of the back. It's definitely OC on the back, but it didn't get dinged. I think that may be the only reason why it's not a 10. Other than that, it is dead centered all the way around. Corners are super sharp. Just another one that is a great card. Next, we're going to go 1974. PSA 9. Another one that is just phenomenal registration. Very well centered. Maybe a little tiny bit high, but other than that, this thing is a 9 all day. Really nice on the back. PSA 9. Last two that I have in my collection. This is 1975. This is the 74 Highlights. This is the mini version of this card. PSA 8.5. Love those 75s with the different colors on them and stuff. And I'm a big fan of the minis. I actually like the minis better than I do the full-size ones for whatever reason. I like the minis. Can't help myself. 8.5 Gibby. And the last one we're gonna do, I believe his last playing days card ever produced, if I remember correctly. If I don't, please correct me on this one, but this is the 1975 Topps full-size base card. PSA 9. Look at the colors on that card. They're so bright. Another one that just has phenomenal registration. Dead centered all the way around. Just a great card. Get you a little shot of the back. Get you a little shot of those career stats. Good stuff. So there we go, folks. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the content on my favorite pitcher of all time, Bob Gibson. Gibby, the great Gibby. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the videos and all the content therein. Keep collecting, folks. Keep collecting what you love.